everyone, I'm Angelo, Hollywood filmmaker. I'm here on 3rd and Western in Koreatown. This is in my neighborhood, and I saw a news story about an 83-year-old woman named Bong Lee who was walking along this piece of road right here, along the side of the road, early in the morning a few days ago, and there's surveillance footage from that Shell station that shows a BMW driver hitting her and fleeing, and she died. Oh man. The family's great. I hope the driver comes forward and can give the family some measure of peace. In reality, like, people who hit pedestrians, they're usually not charged with much. That's not even really a solution. The person's gone. Like, charging them, it would show a priority of the city. That's the thing, but it doesn't do anything really. The family lost someone. So first of all, as you can see, the street is scaled like a city highway. It's huge. Traffic moves quickly. And then look how much sidewalk oh, there's a cyclist coming. So I don't blame that cyclist at all for not using the street. The traffic is way too dangerous here. Again, literally, you can see the blink on the blue, like electric car share parking. What are they called? I can forget, kiosks, charging stations, in the video where Bong Lee was walking. Now, over 100 pedestrians die in LA each year. 70% of pedestrian deaths and severe injuries occur in 6% of the streets. Look at this intersection here, how big it is. There are cars waiting to turn left. When traffic is jammed, the emissions are terrible, so I'm breathing in polluted air. My nose runs now in the cold I know that sounds like a pretty common thing, but it runs in my apartment where I'm like, it doesn't run when I'm like outside or other places. I know there's tons of dust being kicked up. Okay, that's my apartment, but my point is the emissions here are terrible for our lungs, for our bloodstreams, for our brains. But look how little land we get to walk on pedestrians. So people automatically assume, why was she walking in the street? Well, first of all, just look at the percentage of street available, how cars are prioritized, and sidewalk available. But then look over here at the sidewalk. It's buckling under the tree roots here. The woman who died here clearly had some kind of mobility device. It looked like a walker in the video. It's kind of, grainy video. Another buckling piece of sidewalk. There's a program in LA called Vision Zero. Going back over this one. And look ahead, how little space there is. Two people cannot really pass here. If you're holding grocery bags, if you're holding something else, it's even harder to pass. Look up here. How little space there is from here. If you're one person walking here and you're coming this way, you can't pass at the same time. You have to step out of the way. How absurd is this? And I wonder what this glass is from. Broken glass all along here. So if you're riding a bike, you're much more likely to get a puncture here if you're trying to ride basically in the gutter. And this is common in Koreatown. Many people die because of cars hitting them in LA, and it happens a lot in Koreatown. I've actually been hit by a driver here. It was very slow, but he was pulling out of an alley down the street here on 3rd. I thought, oh, he must be willing, he's gonna stop, right? He sees me and he hit me in the leg, and I just yelled at him and walked away because he didn't hit me that hard. But he was looking left and I was on his right side. Now I know, never assume anybody sees you. My car has been parked here on this street where it's been sideswiped overnight. It's had the side view mirror knocked off. It's had the battery broken into. I mean, it was broken into and the battery was stolen. Look at all the people waiting for the bus. And then look how much traffic we get here. Why not build out the sidewalk? How stupid are we that we keep doing this to ourselves? The number one cause of child deaths in LA is being hit by cars, being hit by traffic. This car's speeding out to get out of the driveway of the Shell station, cut across 2 lanes. Look how fast traffic is passing along me. Just think of the scale of this. The scale of me, a human, and how big this street is. This is not human sized, it's not human scaled. It's scaled for cars. And even then, it's not convenient to get around. Right now it's Sunday morning, there's not much traffic. Look how closely the cars are passing here. It's stressful because of the noise. It's stressful because of the constant motion. The intersections are huge. I always watch now, never ever assume cars will stop at red lights. Always watch, always be defensive, but why is that on all of the pedestrians and there's no place for cyclists here? Now that tepid former city council member Mitch O'Farrell, he's out. Hugo Soto Martinez is in. He says he's going to prioritize transit, prioritize pedestrian safety and bike lanes. I mixed up a few words there. Let's do it. I hope he does it. Mitch O'Farrell, what a jackass. Just, well, he didn't add any bike lanes in like 9 years. And he said, well, you know, he was interviewed about this. And he was like, well, you know, we want to make sure people actually, oh boy, I feel worried about him. Want to make sure that people actually have a consensus on this, and we don't want to just install a bike lane only for it to come out. Yeah, all these traffic deaths and accidents happen on your watch, you jackass. But now he's out. And union organizer Soto Martinez is in. But why can't we do this? Everybody lift up your voices. Tell them the urgency of this. I've read now so many comments from whoever, the head of the traffic division, the LAPD, LAPD division, that one. Everybody's always like, either they just have their like bland, tepid excuses like Mitch O'Farrell, like, well, the statistics are the statistics, and you know, we're committed, but we can't do anything. There's not enough funds, and you know, the priorities are spread out, resources are spread too thin, and there's a multitude of priorities that safety is competing with. How dumb are we? Like, do we like this? How do we like this? So we like it when people have to wait for the bus. We like it when we're breathing in millions of particles of pollution, of metals, of emissions from cars that make us more likely to have cancers and dementia, and they get in our bloodstream, they damage our lungs, damage kids' lungs, and damage elderly people's. You have to get on the sidewalk to ride a bike like this guy. You can't just safely cross the street in a place like this. Oh my goodness, you not dare. And then we blame pedestrians. The comments on the video, I don't blame them in a way. They're ignorant, but they're sort of meaning well in a way, even though they don't realize how, you know, pointless it is to comment like this. But it was instructive. On the YouTube video about Bong Lee's death, people were saying that's why I never let my elderly family members walk out alone at night. She shouldn't have been in the street, or she should have a companion. Here's the thing. Those are all tiny little measures you do one at a time to keep yourself safe. Having the right architecture of the street so you don't have a city highway running through your neighborhood keeps people safe 24/7. You could build out this sidewalk another 5 feet, preferably another 10 feet, double the amount of buses, maybe put some kind of light rail line here, streetcar, something, have it running constantly, and get the messaging out that Metro, which it was my misconception as well for years, it's like, oh, that's what you take if you're too poor to drive a car. You take the bus or take the Metro. In reality, it's a great way to get around, but it needs to be expanded. And the city council and the city and the state need to feel the urgency from us, the people here, to encourage them to build it out, to support it, to fund it, to end the fares on the system. Because you can ticket people, you can put up speed cameras and stuff. Those are all little things that they don't stop people. Like, they don't stop distracted drivers. They don't stop drunk drivers. They don't. In other words, if you're about to veer into a pedestrian, they're not going to stop you. What stops you is a physical barrier where even if you veer in their direction, you can't hit them. Again, look how ridiculous the scale is of this strip of sidewalk where you have these obstructions and that buckling sidewalk to this massive street. How stupid are we to keep doing this to ourselves, where kids keep dying, and then the leaders in their tepid, leadership, well, we want to unify people, we want to bring people together. I support Vision Zero. Vision Zero is a program that's been passed in LA. It's a law or whatever motion, something to end pedestrian fatalities by 2025. That's not happening. They're not implementing it. They started and then they really backed off it. And Garcetti, that fucking two-faced con man, and like, well, we got to make sure we're doing a lot. It's a complex issue. We installed, an 1/8 of a mile of bike lane that leads to nowhere. And meanwhile, here's what you're contending with. So this is what the traffic passing is like, and this is what Bong Lee got killed by, or I should say, what killed Bong Lee. She didn't do the killing. Just sad. Like, why do we do this to ourselves? So I encourage you all, start with anything you can, and do it in a way where it's fun for you. Like, anything you do, whether it's exercise or a diet, it should be fun and sustainable. So if I'm saying, hey, educate yourselves on urbanism. That's what it's called. Urbanism meaning making streets multimodal, accessible for everybody. It's not a complete street if you can't walk it, bike on it, etc. Roll on it with a wheelchair or other mobility device. And if you don't have what you need in the area within walking distance. Everything here kind of is within walking distance, but look how gigantic the gaps are you have to cross where you're on the sidewalk, where you're off the sidewalk to get to where you want. It could be much more human friendly. So to make it fun for you, easier for you, I say, one, just look up YouTube channels that talk about urbanism. Not just bikes is kind of one of the biggest ones. There are others, I can't remember some of the names, but look up like anything with urbanism in it. Channels that encourage and educate people about walkable, bikeable cities, cities that are better for the climate, for our health, that reduce crashes. They're better for drivers too. This isn't just prioritizing pedestrians. It's better for drivers because, one, they're dealing with less cross traffic. The traffic patterns are better. They can get to where they're going more quickly and not have so many interruptions in their drive because of traffic jams, because there's less traffic, because people around here are encouraged to get out and walk and ride their bikes or get on buses. Can't get over how, like, every time this intersection comes to, like, the red light comes on, that, like, cars are going so fast to the red light. So there's less traffic because more people get out of their cars. There's less emissions. The traffic flow is more steady. So the speed limits may be lower and the streets may be narrower. Like, you may take out a lane, even 2 lanes. Take out 1 lane for expanding the sidewalk, and then another lane just for buses. But then drivers can get through more safely, knowing they're not going to deal with cyclists on the road. They're not going to deal with people stepping out onto the road as much because they have plenty of sidewalk to walk on. Those work 24/7. Those aren't solutions that are just, they make us feel better and then they don't do anything, like ticketing people. Like, ticket the bad drivers. They're always going to be around. So anyways, look up urbanist channels. I'm just thinking of a few. RM Transit, the Urbanity. I know there's some other big one. I can't remember the name, but it was really good. But look up urbanism on YouTube. You'll find it all. So that's one thing. Just get it trending. And then those pages, they'll mention groups like what's it called? Strong Towns and Streets for All. That's an LA one, Streets for All. Strong Towns is all over the country. Groups where you can read about this stuff and understand, oh, it's not just that you need good drivers. Yes, you do. But you can set up a whole system where the architecture gets drivers more alert, gets them driving more cautiously, keeps them physically separated from cyclists and pedestrians, makes the air safer to breathe, makes it safer for kids and old people to walk around, makes it safe for everybody to walk around, and makes your city more enjoyable to live in. Because you can just get out relatively stress-free, feel connected to the city, learn the environment, the geography, see what the people are like, and not be isolated in this iron box of your car. And also not have to use the street as a place to store your personal property. Think about it, it's weird. You have to store your personal possessions on the street, your car, because there's no space for it, so you have to deal with storage. If you want to get rid of your car, you can afford to get rid of it. I've saved thousands of dollars by doing that. So, and I had to do it because somebody hit it in a hit and run a few blocks away from here. So anyways, think about it. Just think about this stuff. Go deeper into why don't I know about this stuff? Why do I assume, yeah, it's just a problem of a bad driver or a person walking in the street when they shouldn't have? There's so many deeper things that can be addressed than just this one person doing one thing, or this other person driving badly, or this person, not checking over their shoulder when they're turning on their bike, whatever the case. Traffic's starting to pick up. You can see how obnoxious it is here. This is a neighborhood. So there's residences all around here. There's apartments all up and down there. And down Western as well, although Western's more like businesses. You cannot even pass here when another person's coming through. So it makes sense that Bong Lee wouldn't have necessarily taken the sidewalk, but it doesn't matter. There's no reason it should be dangerous to walk around when there should be if there was plenty of space for someone to walk on the sidewalk. So anyways, let's get with it. LA, let's get with it, everybody. Do it from, not for me, but you can think of it as, oh, I want Angelo to be safer. I want Angelo to make great videos about how his neighborhood's transforming. So I want to encourage LA to implement Vision Zero, make the streets more walkable, bikeable, rollable again, meaning like wheelchairs, mobility devices, increase the mass transit, increase the buses running here, maybe put a rail line here or something. That would be amazing. If there was a metro system going through here, I would love that. But explore the options to get people out of cars, to save them money, to save them time on their commutes, and to improve the air quality. The noise pollution can be reduced. Like this freaking thing. This is a neighborhood, and it's not the fault of any one driver or one company or whatever. It's how the streets are designed and cars are prioritized. So think of it as, I want Angelo to live in a really great place. I want to have a place where Angelo lives to be a great place where all his neighbors can live, where it's affordable, where it's safe, where it's enjoyable to live, where people are connected. So that's why you should look up urbanist channels on YouTube, support them. Just imagine, hypothetically, if they were the top trending videos on YouTube, and then more people were urging their elected officials and their whoever, the unelected ones, the ones like the traffic controllers or whoever, I don't know if they're elected or not, but the people whose job is to work on this stuff, who got it as a job and not didn't get elected to it, they should be pressured to. Everybody should, the lawmakers, so that this what you want to walk in, so that they change it so your neighborhood can be better too. Your family's neighborhoods can be better, can be safer. The bus stops can have shelters. They can be better lit. They can be recessed from the road more because the sidewalks are bigger. What's up? No. So think about it. Just question, what do you know about this? You know, if you don't know, how much more can you figure? Like, if you don't know much about it, how can you figure out more? Why don't you know more? Like, what don't you know more? Ask yourself questions, like interview yourself and get specific. All right, everybody, I'm going to get going. Thanks for watching. Bye.